Among a world awash with enigmatic symbols and controversial figures, Baphomet is one of the most fascinating and complex. Although its origins are shrouded in mystery and its significance intertwined with different interpretations, this hybrid figure has intrigued and challenged scholars, occultists, and the curious for centuries. With its imposing horns, majestic wings, and penetrating gaze, the image of Baphomet exudes an aura of power and mystery, inviting us to reveal the secrets hidden behind its ambiguous appearance. Essentially, he personifies duality and the union of opposites, encapsulating the paradoxes inherent in the human condition. Baphomet's androgynous shape, with breasts and the caduceus, transcends gender binaries, unifying masculine and feminine principles. Likewise, the fusion of human and animal elements, a goat's head and a human torso, represents the integration of intellect and instinct, the spiritual and the material. This dialectic is also expressed in the opposition between the wings, a celestial element, and the goat's legs, a chthonic element, representing the search for balance between the spiritual and material worlds. The upward and downward pointing arms, with the words solve and coagula, allude to the alchemical processes of dissolution and coagulation, representing the continuous cycle of transformation and renewal found in nature and in the human being itself. Baphomet's head torch is a symbol of spiritual enlightenment, the search for knowledge and gnosis. Baphomet invites contemplation on the paradoxical aspects of existence and the quest to integrate these dualities into a cohesive whole. With its protruding horns and hybrid appearance, it inescapably calls to mind the image of deities with similar characteristics found in various ancient cultures. These include the goat of Mendes, an Egyptian deity venerated in the city of Mendes, whose iconography exerted a possible influence on the modern representation of Baphomet. Associated with fertility, sexuality, and abundance, the goat of Mendes was revered as a manifestation of the god Banabjadet, a form of the god Osiris. His horned image represented the vital power and generative force of nature. While there is no direct and proven historical link between Baphomet and the goat of Mendes, the iconographic similarity between both figures suggests a possible influence or symbolic resonance. The goat image, present in several pagan cults, carries with it an archetypal charge connected to instinctive nature, sexuality, and the vital force, elements that may have contributed to the development of Baphomet's image throughout history. Intriguingly, the tale of Baphomet is tied up with the saga of the Knights Templar, a military religious order that achieved enormous power and wealth in the Middle Ages. Charged with heresy and idolatry by King Philip IV of France, the Knights Templar were persecuted, imprisoned, and tortured, and their supposed veneration of Baphomet became one of the cornerstones of the prosecution. Documentation from the time, including confessions extracted under torture, mentions the worship of a mysterious idol by the Templars, variously described as a bearded head, a cat, and even a head with 3 faces. The word Baphomet comes up in some accounts. The indictments against the Knights Templar, motivated by political and commercial interests, were aimed at dismantling the order and confiscating its assets. The figure of Baphomet worked as a tool to demonize the Templars, painting them as heretics and devil worshippers. It is important to bear in mind that the image of Baphomet as we know it today, as a figure that reminds us of the devil, was developed by Eliphas Levi and comes after the Templar era. The connection between Baphomet and the Knights Templar is still a controversial topic, surrounded by uncertainty and differing views. Some historians argue that the idolatry accusations were fabricated, while others suggest that the Templars may have absorbed esoteric and pagan elements into their secret rituals. Whatever the historical truth, the connection between Baphomet and the Knights Templar contributed to creating the aura of mystery and controversy surrounding this enigmatic figure. The Templars' legacy has been forever tainted by their connection with this occult figure, and their good reputation never recovered. Following its association with the Knights Templar and the Inquisition, Baphomet gradually became a symbol in various occult and esoteric belief systems. Far from being a unified figure, Its meaning varies greatly between different traditions, acquiring specific nuances and meanings in each context. Within ceremonial magic, which has been systematized by authors such as Aleister Crowley and Eliphas Levi, Baphomet is often tied to the idea of universal balance and the union of opposing forces. It is a combination of the macrocosm and the microcosm, the divine and the human, the masculine and the feminine. In rituals and invocations, Baphomet can be called a mediating entity, able to harmonize the forces at play and help in the search for knowledge and transcendence. In Thelema, the philosophical and religious system devised by Aleister Crowley, Baphomet assumes an even more complex role. It is associated with the concept of the alchemical androgen, standing for the union of opposites and the overcoming of dualities. Baphomet is also identified with the Beast 666, a symbol of individuality, freedom, and will. According to Thelemites, Baphomet represents the driving force of spiritual evolution, pushing the individual towards the realization of their true potential. Other occult and esoteric traditions also include Baphomet in their symbolic systems, giving it different meanings. It can be seen as a symbol of ancient wisdom, Kundalini energy, the Earth's fertility, or even as a representation of the devil himself, according to the perspective and context in question. Modern times have seen Baphomet find a new home in the Satanic Temple, a non-theistic organization that has adopted it as a core symbol of its philosophy. Far from worshipping Satan as a deity, the Satanic Temple takes Baphomet as a representation of rebellion, individuality, and the quest for knowledge. Baphomet symbolizes the rejection of arbitrary authority, the search for individual freedom, and the questioning of dogma within the Satanic Temple. It represents the value of reason, compassion, and the quest for social justice. Baphomet's image, with its defiant stance and underlying duality, represents the refusal to conform to imposed norms and beliefs. Baphomet's assimilation by the Satanic Temple sparked controversy and negative reactions from religious and conservative groups who associate the figure with traditional Satanism and evil deeds. The Satanic Temple stands as an organization that defends individual freedom, equality, and the separation of church and state, and it uses Baphomet as a symbol of resistance and defiance of the status quo. Importantly, the Satanic Temple's interpretation of Baphomet differs significantly from the conventional approach of other occult and religious currents. With its controversial and enigmatic aura, Baphomet has transcended the realms of grimoires and occult movements to become a staple of pop culture. Its impactful image and complex symbolism have found fertile soil in art, literature, cinema, games, and music, adopting new interpretations and arousing public curiosity. Baphomet features in literature such as Umberto Eco's Foucault's Pendulum, where it is associated with secret societies and conspiracies, and Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, in which it becomes a representation of the clash between science and religion. In cinema, it appears in films such as Rosemary's Baby and Drag Me to Hell, associated with satanic cults and supernatural forces. In video games, Baphomet is often portrayed as a powerful and threatening creature, found in RPGs such as Dungeons & Dragons, and card games such as Magic the Gathering. In music, several heavy metal bands like Angel Corpse and Baphomet's Blood use the image and name of Baphomet in their lyrics and aesthetics, tapping into themes such as the occult, rebellion, and the rejection of traditional values. Baphomet's presence in pop culture shows its ability to adapt and transform over time, taking on new meanings and dialoguing with diverse cultural contexts. Be it as a symbol of rebellion, mystery, or occult forces, Baphomet continues to fascinate and challenge the collective imagination, remaining an iconic and controversial figure in our time.